Today is Saturday, and this is our last video lesson before Easter. Yesterday, we remembered Jesus dying on the cross. So this is a sad time as we think about all of the pain that he suffered in our place. But it's also a time that we're really thankful for because we know that his death means that there's a way that our sins can be taken away. After Jesus died on the cross, a couple of his followers went and got his body and buried it. Let's read about this story. I'm going to start in John chapter 19 with verse 38. After these things, Joseph of Arimathea, who was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly for fear of the Jews, asked Pilate that he might take away the body of Jesus. And Pilate gave him permission. So he came and took away his body. Nicodemus also, who earlier had come to Jesus by night, came, bringing a mixture of myrrh and aloes, about 75 pounds in weight. So they took the body of Jesus and bound it in linen cloths with the spices, as is the burial custom of the Jews. Now in the place where he was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden was a new tomb, in which no one had yet been laid. So because of the Jewish day of preparation, and since the tomb was close at hand, they laid Jesus there. So you and I both know that Jesus doesn't stay in this tomb. Tomorrow we'll celebrate the fact that he rose again. But when his followers put him in the tomb, they didn't know that. Jesus had tried to tell them several times that he was going to rise from the dead. But that didn't really make any sense to his followers, and they couldn't understand it. So when they laid him in the tomb, they didn't expect to ever see him again. They put him in the tomb, and then they went to their homes to wait. Now I think this sounds a little bit familiar, because you and I are both at our homes waiting. We're waiting to be able to go back to school, we're waiting to see our friends again. And if you're like me, you're tired of waiting at home. But there's a big difference between the waiting that we're doing in our homes and the waiting that Jesus' followers did after he died. You see, for them, there was no hope when Jesus died. Jesus was the most important person in their lives, and now they didn't think they would ever see him again. So when they were waiting in total despair and never thought that anything good would happen again. As you and I wait, we know that there's hope. We know there's hope because we know the end of this story, and we know that tomorrow we get to celebrate the fact that Jesus did rise from the dead, and this tomb will be empty. We get to wait with hope because we know that because of Jesus' death and resurrection, we can have salvation. And we wait with hope because we know that he's alive and he's with us today. So even though waiting is sometimes not very much fun, you get to wait with hope. And it is my prayer that this week you will remember that because of Jesus, you have hope.